from Hollywood and the four corners of the world. You asked for it. Starring Rich Little. Here's the star of You Asked For It, Rich Little.
Thank you, and welcome to the only show on television that brings you the world into your living room just because you asked for it. Tonight, we enter a coffin to learn the secret of the mummies, a modern-day shootout with the descendants of Wyatt Earp. Leap into a river with a priest who takes a dive for his church, and much more. First, musical maneuvers with the Mounties. The Royal Canadian Northwest Mounted Police are dedicated, well-trained men who not only are good policemen, but one of the few mounted horse troops in the world. In the 1970s, You Asked For It presented on film the famous musical ride of the Mounties. Jack Smith tells us the story behind the hoofbeats.
The musical ride, a series of intricate horse maneuvers performed by the mounted police stationed in Ottawa. Constable Alan Nicholson has spent 2 years as a member of the ride. Alan, how did the musical ride originate?
Well, it's lost in history someplace back in England, Jack. The first ride that our force performed was in 1876, and it was not performed again that we know of until about 1887.
The movement called the Star is one of the most colorful. 4 lines of mounted troopers meet in the center of the arena, form a 4-pointed star, and move in a circle. This maneuver is called threading the needle. 4 lines of horsemen come from the 4 corners of the arena and pass through the center. They miss each other only by inches. To achieve such superb horsemanship, the men, all volunteers, spend 4 months in a rigorous equitation course. If they pass, they serve 2 years with the musical ride before going back to police work. Horses are specially bred for the musical ride. All are either black or dark brown, and all are at least 15 2-hands high. That's 5 feet 2 inches measured from the withers, the ridge between the shoulder bones. Each horse is carefully matched to its rider. Lance maneuvers are among the ride's most spectacular. Lances have never been part of the troopers' weaponry, but they have been used for ceremony since 1874, when they made a big impression on the Indians as the Mounties brought law and order to Western Canada. The spectacle always ends with the cavalry charge. This is the troopers' favorite part of the whole show. The musical ride features at least 30 different maneuvers, and a new one is added every year. You've seen some of the best because you asked for it.
Not too long after that piece was filmed, the Mounties changed their name to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, dropping the Northwest from the title. The famous redcoats were also phased out, and they're now worn only on special occasions. One thing, however, stayed the same. The Mounties always got their man. I'm not too sure, though, about their women. Coming up, enter an Egyptian tomb and learn the secrets of the mummies.
And now back to Rich Little.
Mummies, mysterious artifacts from ancient Egypt. For years, scientists have been wrapped up trying to unravel the secrets of these marvels. But only recently have some amazing truths come to light. Our Danny Fouquet got an exclusive peek into a mummy's coffin at the University of Pennsylvania. We'll see what she found there because Christina M. Schneider of Butler, New Jersey, you asked for it.
It was a land far away in a time long ago. So distant and unusual is the culture and history of ancient Egypt that it seems like a dream, populated by stoic granite figures, gilded masks, mysterious languages, and most bizarre of all, mummies. We always hear about the high level of culture that the ancient Egyptians achieved, but one aspect of these people that is often overlooked was their humanity. Mummification wasn't some kind of weird, grisly practice. It was their way of dealing with death. The Egyptians believed death wasn't the end of the line, but a transition to another existence, an immortal afterlife. Osiris, a mythical king, ruled as god of the underworld to ensure everlasting life. The mummified and entombed body had to maintain contact with the world of the living. Pottery, vessels for food and drink, flint hunting knives, hairpins, and pets were even mummified, like this cat. And models of paintings in everyday life surrounded this mummy. Every day, a part of the deceased personality, called the Ba, symbolized by a human-headed bird, could leave the sleeping mummy, re-enter the world of the living, and experience afresh the pleasures of life. Before sunset, though, the Ba always returned to the mummy, seeking protection from the night's supernatural evil beings. The mummification process was actually very simple. The body was placed on a table like this one. An incision was made in the left side, and all internal organs, except for the heart, were removed. The organs were individually wrapped and placed in jars topped with heads of symbolic animals. The body was then placed on a bed of natron, a natural occurring chemical that quickened the drying out process. 70 days later, it was stuffed with straw and sawdust. Then the mummy was painstakingly wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen. So deft were the embalmer's skills that 3,000 years later, mummies like this one still show hair color and details in their manicured fingernails. Past an ageless casket, there's a room where Egyptologist Dr. O'Connor and his assistant are opening a mummy's casket, just for our You Asked For It cameras. What has time done to its occupant? Incredibly, it's a perfectly preserved example of a wealthy Egyptian, almost 2,500 years old. But inexplicably, this mummy has no linen wrappings over its teeth. A fascinating discovery today, and another mystery to ponder, because you asked for it.
This is Boris Karloff. I played the role of a mummy so often, I found it hard to think of myself at home as a daddy. I got so wrapped up in my work. Bullseye from 200 yards. This is the kind of shooting you'd expect only from the Army or a police SWAT team. But the modern-day gunslingers who zeroed in on this target are members of a North Carolina family named Earp, descendants of the famous Wyatt Earp. The shooting technique they use is called bench rest shooting. How good are they? Well, we matched the Earps with some North Carolina policemen to test them. Our Danny Folke tells us the outcome because Don Dolan of Hobart, Indiana, you asked for it.
Bench rest shooting is one of America's fastest-growing sports. It's basically a do-it-yourself sport with competing families camping and socializing together during weekend matches. The Earps are descended from the famous lawman Wyatt Earp, who fought the gun battle at the OK Corral. Today, the Earps are preparing to fight again, but this time they're going against lawmen. The local police have heard about this new sport called bench rest shooting, and they want to see what all the fuss is about. Larry Earp goes out to the specially made shooting bench to set up his gun. His weapon weighs 13.5 pounds. Normal rifles weigh half that much, so it's set up on custom-built equipment that holds it rock steady. A 36-power telescope and precision grip are necessary to compete on the 200-yard-long range. The rules of the match are simple. A bullet is fired at a target 200 yards away. It doesn't matter where it hits. The idea is to group your next 4 bullets as closely to the first bullet as possible. The person with the least amount of spread between all 5 bullets is the winner. Officer Frank Guy will shoot first. His partners, Patrolman Curtis Main and Detective Bob Kennedy, have no doubt that he'll demoralize the opposition before they even get started. The police are doing quite well. The huge telescopes and precision aiming allow them to group bullets closer together than they ever imagined. This is sure a lot easier than pistol shooting. Now it's the Earps' turn to show their stuff. The police know that they're supposed to be good, but they don't know how good. Larry is the world champion in the 100-yard unlimited class. Gordon is the world junior champion, and his sister Joy came in second, only to him. The officers did pretty well, but they don't look as confident as they did in the beginning of the match. Each year, the International Bench Rest Shooters give an award to their outstanding marksmen. Because the Earps dominated the competition, they decided to just skip choosing among them and honor them as the Family of the Year. This is the official scorers table. Because the spread of the bullets is usually so small, it's measured on a special gauge that calibrates to the thousandths of an inch. Many matches are decided by variances in scores that are so minute that it takes a magnifying glass to properly spot them. This looks like it's going to be one of those matches, a real cliffhanger.
Well, officers, it looked like you did really well for beginners, but the Earps beat you.
Those Earps can really shoot, Pilgrim. I'm John Wayne. I could have used some gunslingers like that at the Alamo. Not with Santa Anna's army, but the critics who panned the movie. Next on You Asked For It, a priest who takes a dive for his church.
And now back to Rich Little.
Well, now it's time to enter our time machine and slip way back into the past with our own belovable Mr. Jack Smith.
Thank you, Rich. At the end of World War II, Europe was in ruins. Villages were destroyed, and people were trying to reconstruct their lives from the devastation. They were desperate times and called for desperate measures. Well, in 1954, our cameras visited Paris, France, to film a remarkable act of courage performed by a remarkable man, Father Simon. In order to raise money to rebuild his ruined church, Father Simon performed an incredible high dive of 128 feet into the River Seine. It was a dangerous, death-defying feat performed as an act of love for the people of his village. Near us, the Notre Dame Cathedral. Father Simon begins his climb for the dive. The River Seine is shallow for such a leap, only 12 feet in depth. The moment is at hand, 128 feet above the water. Father Simon raises his arms. Like blessing his flock, he prays for his cause, for his people, the people of Seyon. This is his home in the country outside Paris. Seyon, where the Nazis destroyed his church, where through his effort a new one was later to arise. Earlier this day, he left his house, a Sunday greeting from a busy member of his congregation. She wishes him well. Once his church stood here. Now, with the money he collected through courage, rebuilding had begun. His Sunday sermon in a borrowed church. His flock is poor, very poor. Still, they have faith in God and this man who leads them in prayer. When all have left, he remains to meditate. A cross in the courtyard to bless. Then begins his journey in Paris for his feat of daring, for his people, the people of war-torn Seyon. Yes, for them he risked his life on Sunday, this Sunday in Paris and many other Sundays. The crowd is gathered. Father Simon leaps. Again, in slow motion. A perfect swan dive, 128 feet high.
Thank you to my wonderful friends in America and the show You Asked For It.
Now, that's raising money the hard way. Did Father Simon ever rebuild his church, though?
Yes, Rich, he did. Thanks to donations from thousands of U.S. viewers and the weekly dives, Father Simon did rebuild his church, bigger and better than ever. He cast his bread upon the waters, and it came back 1,000-fold.
Good. We shall return.
Rich Little will be right back with more of You Asked For It right after this message. back to Rich Little.
That's our show for tonight. See you next time on... Good night, everybody.
This is John Harlan speaking. You Asked For It is a Sandy Frank production.